Hello. My name's Hamish Sewell, and what's today's date? It's the 23rd of August, and we're sitting here today at the Goonoowigall, Flora and Fauna Reserve, I think it is today, which has got a walk around it. And we're coming to you today because we're wanting to celebrate Soundwalk September and also the Goonoowigall Sound Trail. And I've got two respected elders here from the Inverell community, and I'd like you guys to introduce yourself. Aunty, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Hilda Connors Duncan.
Uncle?
Hello, my name's Ron Connors. I lived here.
Yep.
When I was young, we grew up here. We went to school from here, and this was our home.
So we worked together, didn't we? We worked together for about 3 months. A number of us,
Yes,
producing this walk around this camp here.
that's right.
What is this place, guys? How would you describe this place?
Well, what it meant to you, Hilda?
Well, this place is significant to me and my family because I grew up here, and my grandfather, Ronnie, and myself and our grandfather, he came in the 1930s. So it's pretty special to us.
I think it might have been the 1940s, actually, Auntie.
No,
Was it the 1930s?
1930s.
Beg your pardon.
Yes,
Yeah.
he came here.
Yes.
And your dad was what was his name?
Harold,
And your mum?
Celia. Harold Connors and Celia McDougall.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why did they come here, Auntie?
Well, back in them times, under the old Aboriginal Protection Board, you didn't come here by choice. You came here by what you were asked to come here. So we were known as the fringe. This area was known as the fringe dwellers. So we come here. My parents would have come here. My grandfather and parents would have come here, and Aunty and uncles, and we didn't have nothing. They wouldn't have had anything at all. So we just had to
build up from scratch. Built up tin huts.
yeah,
Hey.
tents.
Tents.
Because I remember living down there when Dad was putting the tin shack, that we lived in a tent. So I remember that clearly because I had to, and my other brothers and sisters, we helped to go to the dump and get old kerosene tins and, any piece of old iron that were tin sheets of that we could make a tin shack out of.
Yeah.
But
Now, you guys are from two different families, aren't you?
Our fathers were brothers.
brothers,
Yeah.
yeah,
And our grandfather passed away here.
he did, 1953.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your grandfather was probably, I think your family, Hilda, and your granddad, they were some of the first people here, weren't they?
Yeah.
Well, there was our grandfather would have been the first one.
Yeah.
We came. My mum and dad came in the 1940s. Coming in the 1940s, and then I think I might have been the youngest when they first come here. And there was my two older brothers and sisters, and then there would have been me. I would have been about when my grandfather passed away, I was about 12 or 13, so I was younger when we were here, when we come here.
So just to give it some context too, I mean, there were a number of families who were coming here around that
Yes.
time because they chose not to live in the government missions, or what were known as the missions, even if they were just reserves, where they would have had a lot more controls put on them.
Yeah.
Well, we had a manager in place there for that.
Yeah.
So
So this was a place
But there's
where
3 parts to
Freedom.
it. Like freedom,
Yeah.
but there were 3 parts to it. There was, but the missions didn't come till later. We had the reserves, and there were the fringe dwellers, and then the cockies. They allowed you to go on, but they gave you a little part of their properties to stay on, and then I think the missions would have come.
Cheap labour. With a
Yeah.
lot of
It was.
people too working on these properties who was allocated these little sections of the
Yeah.
properties. It was a form of cheap labour, and they got their fencing done, they got the land clearing done, and so on.
and after the war, after the Second World War, I think a lot of those farms were being split up.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have wanted Aboriginal labour anymore, partly because they were having to pay equal pay.
Yeah.
And so a lot of you guys ended up moving out of there.
We had to move because of seasonal work. We had to travel to Ashford, Texas, Monshore, places like that.
And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of miles around here.
Oh yeah.
And I think your uncle, your parents, Elizabeth and Darcy, they came here, I think, in the 50s, was it?
Yeah, I think it was in the 50s.
The 1950s.
Yeah.
I think they might have come here on a horse and cart.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And they'd been working on one of the local farms.
Oh yes, around down to Ashford and Texas. Dad used to travel up to Gyra on the spuds, picking up spuds and things like that. That was another big thing too up in Gyra.
Very few opportunities then.
Very limited.
Very limited.
Very limited.
And we're at the car park here at the beginning of the reserve, so people can drive in here.
Yeah.
Now, Aunty, whereabouts were you guys living?
Just down there, as you come into the entrance of the Goonoowigall wilderness, we just can't live to the right. Yeah.
So just for the sake of the audiences, there's a bit of a concrete pad down there, but that wasn't there when you were there,
No,
was
it was not there. No, the Salvation Army put that there. But just before that, we were taken, like, in town under the assimilation policy. So I don't know what purpose that was there put there for. So
in other words, you guys all had to move on into town in the late 60s and the 70s.
1963 is when we moved into Inverell.
I'm not real sure, Hilda, but I think I was put there for a tank, wasn't it? They were going to put a water tank there.
It could have been, because we had no water.
Yeah. We had to walk and carry water.
And Uncle, where was your house?
We lived back up here to our right. And I remember my grandfather used to live just over from us. And Hilda and our grandfather, he lived just away from us. And Uncle Alec McDougall, Hilda's
that's my grandfather.
He lived just up a little bit further up the road, just up through the scrub there.
So now we've done a sound trail here, which is the Goonoowigall Sound Trail, and we're wanting to celebrate that as part of this international event called Soundwalk September. What are some of the stories that we've got on the sound trails? Can you remember, Hilda, what some of those stories are? I don't know why I'm saying Hilda. I keep saying it should be Hilda.
You mean when we previously recorded? Or?
Yeah, what are some of the things that we've spoken about? Which
I spoke about
how we carried water.
How we had to go and our drinking water and bath water. We had to walk a long way to get our water because we had there was just no water for us. So we had to have water kind of every day to have our bath and for cooking and drinking, but we had a long way to walk for it. So.
And then there was the school.
The school. We had a long way to go to school.
So.
Yeah.
Where was the school?
It was going on like towards Inverell, sort of halfway between here and Inverell.
So a couple of kilometres over this way?
Easy.
Oh, yeah, but more than a couple, probably about 3 or 4 or 5 kilometres.
Yeah.
We had to go and walk to school. We'd walk to school, we'd walk home.
Yeah.
But we managed to get to school and get to school. Our parents, Mum and Dad, got us to school and made sure we got a start with our education there. So.
And Uncle, you were a boxer for a while, weren't you?
Oh, back in 1916, I went over the coast and I was cutting sugar cane over around Lismore, and I went and I joined the show from there, and I went with them for a while. The bloke who I travelled with was Les McNabbs. He had a boxing tent and he had a big merry-go-round. And my cousin, who was in the boxing tent, he took me under his wing.
And of course, a lot of young men joined the boxing troops.
Oh, yes, back in those days, yes.
Why were they joining, Uncle?
Oh, because it was a form of money, seeing the country, travelling around.
I think it was just a big opportunity.
Yeah, it's a big opportunity.
We didn't have many opportunities, and when they got the opportunity, they just took it, because we didn't have the opportunity there for us. And of course, there was a lot of good boxers amongst our people.
Oh, yes.
So
my word.
When the opportunity came along, they just took it.
So when you think back to your childhood, what would have this looked like back then?
Well, it hasn't changed all that much, but it has. Like sort of, they've made it into a tourist part now, like where they can come out and walk, and there's walking trails here, and you can just come out and have barbecues, and because in the middle there, that was our playground.
Yeah.
We'd play in that middle part there. We'd play. That was our playground, and come when was bonfire night, Ronnie?
Oh, what
August? Is it August when you have the bonfires, or
4th of July, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but it was about the middle of winter anyway. But
yeah, we'd have a bonfire.
We'd build our big bonfire, and we'd have our crackers and.
Of course, there was a number of other families, eh?
Oh, there was other families.
All our cousins.
It was
aunties and uncles.
We'd have a lovely time together.
Oh, yes.
Lovely time.
Everybody shared and cared for each
other.
We
did share. I remember when we was on, I don't know, we had vouchers where we get our rations every fortnight. And if we ran out of, flour or whatever, it was very limited. It was basic what we got on the, like sunshine milk, and if we ran out, we'd just go and ask our aunties and uncles and grandfathers and share amongst ourselves.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember that tale you told me, Uncle, about your grandfather hiding the cigarettes.
Oh.
Because you guys were always humming.
Me and Mervyn and Errol. And he'd send us across. There used to be a little shop over behind us here. And he'd send us over for a packet of cigarettes, and he'd plant it, and oh dear.
And he would. The reason why he'd hide them is because you guys kept stealing them.
Yeah, we was knocking them off on him.
And you had this expression, humming cigarettes.
It's still there today.
It's still there
Humming's
today.
Still there today.
It's still a word used very loosely.
Yeah, and I think there were a lot of special little places around this area for you guys, weren't there?
A lot of special places.
Can you...
Playgrounds.
Yeah.
Playgrounds.
We used to go and play guilds and play dolls. And we'd have our cowboys and Indians and that type of thing back in those days.
We had to make our own games.
We had to make our own toys and our own games.
We didn't have nothing, so we had to make our own games and make our own toys. And,
that's right.
Because there was no money, so...
Yeah, money was...
But our parents taught us to do that too. Yeah. You know what, Hamish? We were taught our survival skills from a very early age.
That's true.
From a very early age, we were taught to stand up And that was survival skills.
Yeah.
And I still got that today, and I tell my grandkids,
Yeah.
this is how you got to stand up for yourself and make a stronger person of yourself.
That's true.
And of course, there was the shadow of the welfare, wasn't there?
Oh, that was always hanging over there.
So, do you want to tell us who the welfare was?
Well, we knew, like Ronnie, we knew the sound of the police and the welfare. We knew the sound of the vehicles.
Yeah.
And as soon as we could hear it coming down there, before Mum could say run, we'd run away and hide. And then we'd wait there.
Yeah.
Because when they start up, we'd hear them start the motor up and,
they'd go.
give a little time to get out on the track and away we come back home.
Yeah.
I think Aunty Barb, she actually had to deal with the welfare one day.
Yeah. Well,
Your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, because
Oh,
she
we
was home
wouldn't,
babysitting.
She was home babysitting.
Mum and them went to town to working, and the welfare came along, and of course she told her brother and her sister to go and hide
yes.
until the police and the welfare left.
Mm.
What were they worried about with the welfare?
Take you.
They'd take you away.
Why would they take you away?
Oh, because they
Well, you're neglected.
make excuses
Well,
to say that you weren't going to school, eh?
Well, I got paperwork on, like, where they put down neglect. That was the word they used, neglect.
Yeah.
And there was, I mean, what my mum taught me and my father taught me, I still have it today.
Yeah.
So, there was really no need to. They taught me good.
Sorry, we just got a bus coming in at the moment.
Yeah.
They look like school.
I don't think anyone's in it though.
Oh,
I'll just see if he's going to stop the engine.
yeah. Hold on.
He's going to keep the engine going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not much good.
Nah.
All right.
All right. Well, let's wind up there, shall we?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
For people who are coming out on I think we're going to be walking the Sound Trail on the 26th of September.
Yep.
At 10 a.m. in the morning.
Okay.
And Auntie, I think you're going to be here, aren't you?
Yeah, we're trying to get Josh to record it for us. So.
Yeah. So the invitation's out there for people to come and join. The elders here. The elders here with walking the Sound Trail. And you'll have to make sure that you download the Sound Trail on your phone, and then you're going to get to hear all these amazing stories from this site and the lives of you guys who have the
we
experience.
can show them a little bit more on the walk
Yeah.
because we didn't. We can do more talk on the walk too.
Yeah.
But you might want to let people listen to the walk as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can listen.
Okay.
And then when they're finished,
Listen and learn.
and then when they're finished, then they can have a bit of a yarn with you guys.
Yeah.
They certainly can because we still got more to talk. Can I talk about the blanket?
Yeah, talk about the blanket.
The old Govey blankets they used to bring out every 12 months to
Every
us.
12 months.
The police would bring them out and they had them rolled in a bundle. And there was a number on there. That number was us.
Our census.
That was our number.
Yeah.
And they were the worst blankets you could ever experience because so itchy.
Yeah.
That's why I love good Manchester today.
Yeah.
And I think
Oh, no, he got some kids on.
Yeah.
No, he's picking up kids.
the thing that I want to make, the point that I want to make is that you guys lived very...
Oh, it was hard.
You worked very
but
hard.
good.
You lived very upstanding lives. Your parents were very hardworking.
Yeah.
You had clean houses.
Yeah.
You went on and you got decent jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this.
Over the years.
You made the best. How big were your families?
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
there's 13 in my family.
Yeah, there was 9 in mine.
9 in
13.
yours, and that was pretty typical, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what, Hamish? We had a good system around us.
Yeah,
And I mean discipline and respect.
that's it.
We had that system around us. And I still got it today.
Yeah.
The kids know, my grandkids know that.
Yeah.
They come to home.
Yeah.
that still sits in our house.
And how many people would have been living around here, Auntie?
Oh, about 30.
About
40
30
families.
people? Yeah.
20, 30 families.
I mean, probably over the years there would have been several hundred.
Over the years.
A couple of hundred?
Over the years.
Oh, yeah, more than a couple of hundred.
Couple of hundred? Yeah.
Coming and went, you know.
Yeah.
And there was the real sense of people moving backwards and forwards between places, wasn't
Well,
there?
That's true.
you had to move because you couldn't, because we had to have food and we had to have some kind of little comfort or something like. But we had to survive somehow.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we had to move.
Travel
I mean,
where?
we lived in Texas and we lived in Ashford and we lived here and we went to Tinga and we just, you know, and it was all about survival.
But it was also about escaping the welfare too, wasn't
Well,
it?
it wasn't about escaping
Because
the welfare.
if your dad wasn't working or someone wasn't working, then you couldn't feed the kids.
Yeah.
If you couldn't feed the kids, then probably chances are you couldn't go to school. If you couldn't go to school, then the welfare would pick you up.
You know what, Hamish? We didn't exist before the referendum. We were extinct. We didn't exist at all before the 1967 referendum.
We never had.
Before we could vote, so they could treat us any way they wanted to treat us.
Now, if people arrive for the Sound Trail and they do the walk, what would you like to say to them?
Just respect the place.
Yeah, respect the place because we still have fond memories of it, don't we?
Remember, that's it. Because we've still got that here.
We still got that. It's still there with us.
And in terms of the traditional people here, who are we talking about?
Well, there's the Goonoowigall people.
Yeah.
That's our clan, the Goonoowigall people.
Yeah.
That's our clan. And the koala bear is our totem.
Yeah.
Any final words?
Oh, just that. Well,
No, all I can say is that I've got I'll have this till the day I'm no more here.
Yeah.
Fond memories of out here at the Goonoowigall.
Me too.
Yeah.
Good fond memories. Because I can remember my aunties and uncles, my grandfathers, my cousins, and you know, I've got all that there with me. So it's good. It's fond memories of us all together.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
And
we all went through the same system. So,
That's it.
but we're happy. We're
We
still
were
happy
happy.
people.
We didn't have a lot, but we was happy.
No, we're still happy people.
Yeah.
No. Enjoy it.
We don't hate.
No, we do not.
We don't hate.
We don't
people.
hate. We don't have that in there. There's nothing of that in us.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Thank you.
Right on.
That brings us to an end. How am I going to turn this thing off? There we go.